go. Let's introduce ourselves real quick, just for people who are going to see this from the website.
Right. So, I'm Enmit, world record holder of this game for the SNES version.
I'm EZGames, and I'm the TAS. I'm the creator of this movie you're about to watch. This is Toy Story for the SNES. There's a Genesis TAS already published, but there's quite a few differences involving speedrunning this game. It's assumed. I don't know if it's assumed, but it's is the more preferred version for speedrunning, because there's a few differences, or there's a few skips you can do in the SNES version that you can't do in the Genesis version. Most of them involve the boss battles, but we'll get more into that as we continue on. To start, Emmett, we can.
All right, let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Long intro.
Yeah, you barely see the logos right there, like Traveler's Tales and the Psygnosis logo. And for some reason, if you just hold start when you boot up the game, you won't. It's a little bit slower than holding what I think is R. That's actually pulled faster, so that's a weird thing, but it saves like a second in total.
So the first thing that we're going to do real quick is we're going to turn off storyline. That basically removes all the cutscenes in the game.
So, Jimmy measured this for the Genesis TAS, and by the second level, turning off the cutscenes had already saved time, like going into the menu and doing all that. So it's quite significant, especially on the SNES version where like the transitions between the levels are a little bit slower.
So just back there, you probably didn't notice it, but we already abused, I'm going to call this a glitch, but I'm going to call it that just because that's how it is. There's a trick called the 10 frame jump in this game. So if you hold the jump button for exactly 10 frames, you get the maximum jump height. If you hold the button for any longer or shorter, Woody does not reach that height. So it's a weird mechanic that we have no idea why it's even implemented, but that's just how it is.
It's another one of those one-frame tricks that are so wonderful to have in a speedrun. But this being the TAS, it obviously abuses the shit out of it.
Yeah, a lot of RTA runs actually point in the very first level because that one 10-frame jump in the beginning is very difficult to get the first try. Also, we completely skipped over this level. So the fastest time you can get in this level is a 132, which is what you just saw right there. Really, what you have to do is you have to get all the toys back into their correct positions before Andy comes up. And that wrestling dude is you have to free that wrestling dude right away, otherwise the quickly, because he's the slowest character to get to his position. Favorite level in the whole game just because of the music.
Also,
save time. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Oh, it's fine, it's fine. I was just about to say that the first jump in that level, jumping over that clown, is a 10-frame jump. It's called a clown jump.
So one thing I can do right here to save time is to the hooks on the ceiling. That saves, I think, 10 frames every time you do it. I'm not entirely sure. This is a level where we start to abuse damage boosts. A few spots where it's kind of unavoidable to avoid damage, but we use it in the more I also want to end this level with exactly 1 health because we're gonna refill our health later.
Yeah. So everything in this game does 1 damage to you. Every single enemy, every single obstacle. So you want to really plan out where you are taking damage and use your iframes for that. And it's all about planning where to take damage, basically. And Ego Check is probably a good example of that. You could see that section where we just went right, like constantly falling in that pit to skip that entire section.
Also, I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, but I want to explain this real quick. So this is Buzz Battle. What you have to do real quick is to hit the orange balls off of him, otherwise you can't do damage to him in the next cycle. You can actually do damage to him in the very first cycle on the Japanese version. However, the Japanese version does not have a skip that we're going to be using later in the run. So that's why the United States version is being used. RC level. One thing that I do to kind of speed things up is to avoid skidding as much as possible. Do that little wiggle thing that you see with RC to kind of position myself so I can turn at a 45-degree angle to kind of cut the corners. Hit Buzz every time you see him. Otherwise, otherwise you won't be able to finish the level because you have to hit the very last Buzz at the end of the level to finish it. The batteries that Buzz leaves behind to kind of recharge our stamina, and like the ones that are more convenient to grab.
Yeah, this level is really slippery to do RTA, so it's really easy to skid. So we want to try to wiggle, basically, which is a strat that Jimmy found. Basically alternating left and right every other frame. I think every 2 frames, I think.
This is Revenge of the Toys. All you have to do here is to free Rex every time he gets stuck. To kind of speed up the whip motion is to jump. I can jump without because like if you jump while you're whipping, you can cancel out the animation and it makes it a bit faster because you have to wait for the animation and continue moving. Finish the level with 2 health because we're going to refill it in the next stage.
Right, and this matters because this game has 50 stars in every level, except for this level. For some reason, there are only 48 stars in this level, and the way this works is that if you collect 45 stars, you'll get nothing. If you collect 46 stars, you'll get 1 extra health point. 47, 2 extra health points. 48, 3 extra health points. 49, 4 extra health points, which is basically a full refill. But if you collect 50 stars, you'll get an extra life instead. So what you want to do in some levels is to basically just skip 1 star and get a full refill instead of an extra life. Because dying is slow and you don't really need more extra lives, you just need more health points to damage boost with.
Well, there's not really much you can do here to save time other than get to the very right of the screen around the end. But that ends the level faster. Now we're at a level that also has a United States exclusive glitch. It's a glitch. It's just a strat that we use. But essentially, get buzzed. You cannot put the tire on Buzz as he's spinning around. But in the United States version, SNES version, you can actually do that. So we do that right away. Also, wherever the tire spawns, depends on when it hit Buzz. So because it kept hitting him in the air, that's where the tire kept spawning. It kept spawning around. So that's why we can't do that quick damage right away. explain this level real quick?
Yeah, this is probably one of the trickier levels because there's basically just a lot of damage boosting, and to figure out exactly where you should damage boost in this level is quite complicated. There's also some lag to the later end in this level, where there's a lot of stuff going on and it starts to lag, so you kind of want to damage boost in the right place. Also, you have this kid throwing airplanes. That's a good deboost, for instance, like just going through those cans and the paper leg.
So it's kind of, looking at this now, the shirt for the kid is basically just a moving texture. It's kind of funny to see.
Yeah, that's why we call him the paper leg.
It's a pretty impressive game for its time. At all the 3D, or the fake 3D graphics.
Alright, so ending with 1 health and picking up 49 stars, so we'll start the next level with 5 stars, 5 health points.
Level runs on a global timer, so all the cycles start at the exact same time. So it's very important that we make all of them. We can also do 10 frame. We can also do 10 frame jumps around the end, or around to get there faster. Tubes that we hit down have coins falling through them, and just like run through them right away.
Yeah,
this is also another level.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Another level where you have to finish with 49 stars, so we can refill our health at the end. Because this is also another area where we abuse damage.
And it lags a lot in certain places in this level. A lot of sprites.
Bad. Okay, so now we're at probably one of the more unique stages of this game. Never played Doom or Wolfenstein. This is going to be really cool to see.
Hello.
Is that you?
I guess one thing worth noting is that you don't really, like in RTA you would want to turn around so that you know where to go, but it's actually slightly faster to walk backwards. It's 111 units versus minus 112 units. So it's just a tiny bit faster to walk backwards, also not having to turn around, obviously.
Also, normally in RTI, you would actually grab that alien that you saw backward, grab him last. But it's actually a bit faster. It's actually quite faster to do that one second, and then do this very last one. You can actually catch a pretty early cycle on this block right here. We're gonna stand right in front of it, so we can move it back into position. As we're trying to leave. That way, it won't be blocking our way as much.
Hello.
To leave early. Right there to kind of reduce lag.
And 59. Compared to the RTA best of 52.
This is probably the biggest skip in the entire game. I'm just going to let it speak for itself, and then we'll explain what's going on.
Bye, Claw.
Yep. Okay, so what happened there was that we spawned as many sprites on the screen as possible, and for whatever reason, the game freaks out and kicks you out of the level. This only works on the United States version as well, and it saves around a minute and a half, I think.
I think it's a little bit more than a minute. When I compared my Japanese runs compared to my US runs, it would save just about a minute on the splits. But yeah, that's quite significant.
We actually don't know exactly if the sprite... there's a ton of sprites on screen. One of the biggest theories is the fact that Buzz needs to be on screen as well.
There's also... yeah, there's also... It was fixed in the other versions because when you can't get that much aliens up in the air at the same time, so they kind of fixed it that way that you just physically can't hit as many aliens. So that's also why we think it's a sprite limitation thing going on.
Also right here, you can't, when Sid actually sets you on fire, you can't jump or stop. You can only run forward. Or you can actually run backward and forward, but you just can't stop at all. And so we take a damage boost at one spot that kind of saves the most amount of time, which is back there. They use a sound effect for like a glass falling for when he puts his head in the, in the cereal.
In the cornflakes.
This stage, in RTA runs, you would take a death immediately to fill up your health, but you can actually finish the stage with exactly 1 health. Right here.
Yeah, the biggest reason why we die in the beginning in RTA and respawn with full health is because this level is heavily RNG influenced. Like, these firecrackers might snipe you at any moment. But that's not a problem in the TAS, obviously.
Especially because one of those firecrackers you can actually skip by doing a 10-frame jump. I'm battling some of the mutant toys by karate chopping them. I want to get one of them to hit the right side of the screen as fast as possible, because that's how the level ends. Because you need one of them to hit the end of the screen. And to legs right there to and quickly. So then that way I can also hit both of them at the same time at the end.
Yeah, I really love that grouping strat, hitting them both in the same swipe.
Very satisfying. Level in terms of like optimization goes, the rest of these levels are basically auto-scrollers. I'm not collecting health here to really fill it up for any damage boost later. I'm just doing it just to do a little bit of swag at the end.
Yeah, these stars are really randomly placed. It's like, it's really tough to collect them RTA and not get hit at the same time.
This is a version of this game. The screen's extended a bit. So it's actually a bit easier in the Genesis version to dodge a lot of these things because you have more time to react. I think it's actually just because the sprites are bigger in this version. So that's probably the reason why.
I also think the hitbox is a little bit better on Genesis.
Wait, here's a little bit of swag I think coming up. It is. In between the balls.
Yeah, that's really great.
Alright, cool. Alright, so this is the last RC. This is the other RC game. Sorry, the other RC level in this game. But like, there's really no other point to it other than just like have continuity with the storyline.
Also, those wiggle strats.
Wiggle up. Alright, so this is the very last stage. This is where you're flying as Buzz and you want to get to Andy's car right away. It's going to end as soon as they go perpendicular above the car. But there's one little like piece of swag that I wanted to do at the end, which is why I got the health in the first place.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Because it doesn't waste any time to get the health, I did it anyway.
Watch out. Here it comes. Here it comes.
You got me, Yamai.
Watch out. Watch out. Here it comes.
Face right there.
Watch out.
So yeah, RTA, you really don't want to die, because all the stars that you've collected, they don't respawn if you die, so,
Here it comes.
and they really indicate where you should go.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Here it comes. Here
Oh
it comes.
yeah,
Here it comes.
the truck dive.
Ow. Watch out.
Revenge. Little piece of swag that
And
every
slam dunk.
arcade runner has to do.
Yeah.
In time. Alright, what was the final time?
Oh yeah, I did split a little bit late, but 1956 maybe, 1957.
Alright, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll probably have to get a more accurate RTA time for that, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so the final input, it was commonly believed to be like just dropping off wooden bus in the air and like waiting for the cutscene to happen, but it actually is there's a screen that says thank you for playing, and you have to, like, that's where the final input actually is, because it stays on that screen until you do any kind of input, and then it moves on to the credits.
Also, there's no music at the end. I don't know why they didn't put music.
It's been said that because the Genesis version, well, it doesn't have it in the credits, but the You've Got a Friend in Me music, it's been said that they couldn't get licensing on the SNES version for it.
Strange things, though, which is what you heard in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's really the case. Although, you Got a Friend of Me is a more popular song, so that might also be the reason.
I think it's worth mentioning the way that SNES handles music in general kind of prevents it, I think, because that's one of the reasons why it takes longer to load, like takes levels longer to load than on the Genesis version. You could see that in many games if you compare the SNES version to the Genesis version, how the SNES version kind of has to load the music in, and it's taking a lot longer than for the Genesis version.
One of the only reasons why the SNES version is slightly slower than the Genesis version.
Yeah,
That kind of cancel that out.
so it's
That was sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was just about to mention that if you die in a level, it's like 5 seconds. There's this 1 second on the Genesis version, so that's quite significant for a respawn time.
I try to avoid that death in Mutant Toys just because it takes too long, and it doesn't really save any time at all. Since you've seen that, I can just damage boost through everything. That was the SNES Toy Story TAS. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope this was because that's my biggest worry.
Yeah, it was good. It was a really solid TAS, I think.
Yeah. See you all later.
Yeah, thank you for watching. And